Welcome to another S&P 500 analysis. Today is February 17, 2022. In this video, we're going to take a look at the SPY, the ETF for the S&P 500, and also the ES, the E-mini S&P 500 future. And we're going to follow up some of the price scenario that we put forth from the last video, and then see how it played out or didn't play out, and what the next scenario for us to keep an eye on. So stay tuned. Let's just kind of take a look at overview on the daily chart here on the SPY. Remember, we were talking about this possibility of getting back up against this pivot here. And we also note that if the price come back into this zone, we probably see the price maybe make a retracement back to this area here, essentially get back to this edge here. And if it doesn't hold inside of this zone, then we could be looking at this price, this pivot low to be back in play. And looking at this 60-minute chart of this SPY, remember we talked about the composite volume profile for this time span here, and the point of control, the composite point of control is near the 450 mark. And also I have identified some of these high volume zones that we expect the price to be chopped around inside of those zones. And then when it break out of those zones, then we expect to look for some sort of rejection, either on the downside or on a bounce back right up, try to get back into the zone. So as you can see here on this 60-minute chart here, last time it was here that we talked about the price action. One of the scenario was if it get back into the zone, then we're essentially looking for the price to come up to this 450 and possibly get up to this top edge of this zone here. Then the downside scenario is if it come into this zone, then we're essentially looking for the price to retrace back down to the other side of the zone at the lower edge of the zone. If it's unable to get back above it, basically come back into the zone and trap into the zone. So as you can see, that did not play out the following day after I put out the video. Right? It did come in, but it did not get into that retracement mode down toward the lower edge of the zone. Instead, it bounced back up and got into this zone. Now, once it got into this zone, it did not go and trace up. Instead, today it gapped down. Now, today it actually played out that scenario, the downside scenario that we were looking for, because it came into this zone here, and then it just kind of bounced around and retraced itself for this lower edge at 438. Now, just take a quick look at the SPY on the weekly volume profile. Each one of these profiles represent a week of trading. So you can see that the previous week we have this point of control near that 450 level, which is also the composite point of control. And the other thing is you can see that the price came up. Yesterday it came up to this high here, this week's developing value area high, but never got up to this 450 level, this point of control, last week's point of control. And you could see that today it's just gave up and cut right to down back inside of this zone here. And right now it's basically retracing back to the other side of this zone. And now looking at the daily profile, each one of these profiles represent the day session, the regular trading hour session. And you can see today it opened right above yesterday's point of control. And then it swept back down and booked below the value area, yesterday's value area. And you can see that tried to get back above it and unable to do so. Then it started breaking down and came down and tagged this naked point of control. Right? And then continue to pull back and get into this value area. So once it booked this value area, now it's coming down to this low volume area here. This zone here is basically as a low volume zone trap between the two high volume zone. So the coming day tomorrow, be watching to see will the price come into this zone here, right, and possibly work down to this area here, because basically we're looking at this value area now, and see would it chop down to this 432 area and get a bounce back up, or will it just kind of chop around down here and then come back up to the today's point of control, and then pushes back up for this value area high, and then come back down and maybe just kind of pin, end the session somewhere around between 438 and 440, because that's where we're looking for the possibility of a pin somewhere around 440. I'm essentially looking at 440 for the pin tomorrow, just based on the open interest from the close today. So it might be a little different later on tonight when they have the official open interest. So right now I'm basically looking at 440. So that's basically what I'm looking at right now. Watch to see will it come down to the zone and see that we get a bounce, right? If it open on the downside, if it doesn't get a bounce and get into the zone, then we could be looking at a move coming down to this point of control here, this naked point of control, and that would be somewhere around 427. So that's basically what I'm looking at. All right, let's take a look at the ES market profile chart here. The magenta level, or the level that we're targeting to get hit during the regular session. Okay? And as you can see, we have the prior session point of control, and also the poor low and the poor high from Monday's session. Right, so you could see that it opened right near the point of control, and tagged the point of control, and it came down and tagged the poor low and poor high, and kind of chop around and start building these single print. So we have today's session left some of the single print and also a poor low. So these levels will go away, and tomorrow basically we'll be watching for this point of control and also the single print to get tagged, and possibly the poor low, and maybe the single print up here. So it's all depend where the market will open tomorrow. Let's say if it opened down here somewhere around 43.50 or below the low from today, then I will be watching for the price to come up and tag the poor low, and see would it be able to stay above the poor low. If it does, then we're going to be watching for the single print to get tagged and possibly come all the way up and tag this point of control at 44.10, then probably come back and chop around between this 4400 and 43.90 for possibly for the pin somewhere around this area on the OPX pin. Okay, so now, but if it open above the this low here, let's say it's open up somewhere around here, then we could see maybe possibly trying to come up and tag this single print and push us down and take out the poor low, and then come back up and take out the single print and possibly the point of control, and once again come back in between this 4400 and 43.90, because those are the pin area that I'm looking at tomorrow. Then the extreme on the downside, is that it come up, tag the poor low, and start working its way down to this poor low here at 42.83. That is the extreme. Now looking at the weekly volume profile for the ES, here's the last week's value area. You can see that price came up, unable to get up to the weekly point of control at 45.04 area there, and then came back down outside of this value area. And here today it dipped back inside of this week's value area. So right now we're basically looking to see would it continue to move down to this point of control, this weekly point of control at 43.28.25 area. It's basically around 43.28, at this point of control, and then possibly chop around and move down for the 42.82 Remember when we look at the market profile, we're basically that's one of the extreme, the downside extreme, right? The other thing is if it go back up, then we essentially are looking for this thing to possibly try to come back inside, try to come back basically inside of this developing value area for this week, right? So basically just chop around and then close inside here near the 4400 and 4390 area. So that's basically what we're looking at on the volume profile and the weekly volume profile, because we notice that there is this high volume node here, right? Okay, and here it could come down to this area here and probably get rejected back up. Okay, so it could make its way down to this 4328 and then push it back up. And looking at the daily profile, the volume profile for the ES, you see here's the yesterday's point of control and the value area. It opened near the point of control and then came down and tried to get back in to the value area and was unsuccessful to get back in. Then instead, it came down to this value area. Once it came in, you can see that it traced to the other end of this value area and chop around, and now it is moving outside of that. So there is this point of control here, and also this value area low. So we're going to see would it be able to get back inside of this value area tomorrow. But if it doesn't, then we're basically looking for that possibility of working itself down to this, near this 4300 level. And if it could work its way back up inside of this value area, here's today's value area. So what it could do is it could come up, and maybe test this area here once again. You see that there is a high volume node here, right? This high volume node, and here's a low volume area. So it could come in here and then bounce around and then push back in to this point of control here near the 4414, 4400. I expect to see a pin somewhere around here at the 4400 tomorrow. And these are just some of the methods that I use to analyze the chart and look for a possible level to target. So good luck, thank you for watching, and be sure to smash that thumbs up to help me promote and share this video.